Hello everyone, and welcome to this video on product backlog prioritization. In this video, we'll be discussing the importance of prioritizing the items in your product backlog and the various techniques that can be used for prioritization. We'll also discuss some common mistakes to avoid while prioritizing your product backlog. What is product backlog prioritization? Let's start with the basics. A product backlog is a list of all the features, enhancements, and bugs that need to be addressed in your product. Prioritization is the process of deciding which items in your product backlog are most important to work on first. Why is prioritization important? Prioritizing your product backlog is essential because it helps you and your team to focus on the most important items first. By working on the most critical items first, you can ensure that you are delivering the most value to your customers and stakeholders. Additionally, prioritization can help you to manage your resources more efficiently and ensure that you are delivering features that align with your overall product vision. Techniques for product backlog prioritization. Now that we've covered the importance of prioritization, let's discuss some techniques that you can use to prioritize your product backlog. 1. Moscow prioritization. Moscow prioritization is a simple technique that can be used to categorize items in your product backlog based on their importance. 1. Moscow stands for must have, should have, could have, and won't have. 1. This technique is based on the premise that not all items in your product backlog are equally important. Must-have items in this category are critical to the success of your product. Without these items, your product cannot be considered complete. Should-have items in this category are important but not critical. These items can be postponed if necessary, but they should still be addressed. Could-have items in this category are desirable but not essential. These items can be postponed or even removed from your product backlog if necessary. Won't have items in this category are nice to have but not important. These items can be removed from your product backlog. 2. Weighted shortest job first, WSJF. WSJF is a prioritization technique that considers the cost of delay, job size, and risk. This technique helps to prioritize items that have the highest cost of delay and the smallest job size. The cost of delay is the amount of money that is lost for every unit of time that an item is delayed. The job size is the amount of work required to complete an item, and the risk is the likelihood of an item failing. 3. Kano Model. The Kano Model is a technique that categorizes items in your product backlog based on their impact on customer satisfaction. This technique helps you to understand the level of satisfaction that your customers will experience with each item in your product backlog. There are 3 categories in the Kano Model. Must have, these items are expected by your customers. If you don't have these items in your product, your customers will be dissatisfied. Performance, these items enhance customer satisfaction. The more you have of these items, the more satisfied your customers will be. Delighters, these items create unexpected satisfaction. These items are not expected by your customers, but they will be delighted if you include them in your product. 4. Theme screening. Theme screening is a technique that groups items in your product backlog based on their themes. This technique helps you to identify the areas of your product that need the most attention. Themes can be based on the user experience, technology, or business value. Common mistakes to avoid. Now that we've covered some techniques for prioritizing your product backlog, let's discuss some common mistakes that you should avoid. 1. Prioritizing based on personal preferences. One common mistake that product owners make while prioritizing their product backlog is prioritizing based on their personal preferences. It's important to prioritize items based on their impact on the product and customer satisfaction, rather than personal preferences. 2. Prioritizing everything as must-have. Another common mistake is prioritizing everything in the product backlog as must-have. This can lead to an unmanageable backlog and make it difficult to focus on the most critical items. It's essential to prioritize items based on their actual importance. 3. Not considering the entire team's input. It's important to consider the entire team's input while prioritizing your product backlog. This includes developers, testers, designers, and other stakeholders. It's important to get their input to ensure that everyone is aligned with the product vision and working towards the same goals. 4. Not reviewing and updating the backlog regularly. Finally, it's important to review and update the product backlog regularly. Priorities can change based on customer feedback, market trends, and other factors. It's important to keep the backlog up to date and ensure that it reflects the current priorities and needs of the product. Conclusion. In conclusion, prioritizing your product backlog is an essential step in product development. It helps you to focus on the most important items, manage resources efficiently, and deliver value to your customers and stakeholders. By using the techniques discussed in this video and avoiding common mistakes, you can effectively prioritize your product backlog and ensure that you are delivering the best possible product to your customers. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found this video helpful.